Have you ever felt the weight of the world pressing down on you, squeezing the air from your lungs, leaving you gasping for a moment of peace? Have you ever stood in a crowded room, smiling, laughing, playing the part, while inside a silent scream echoes? A scream born from criticism that cuts too deep, rejection that stings like a fresh wound, or betrayal that leaves you questioning everything you thought you knew? Maybe you've dreamed of becoming unshakable, a fortress of strength, someone who walks through life untouched by the chaos of human connection. But here's the brutal truth no one dares to whisper. As long as you run from pain, it will own you. As long as you hide from the cracks in your soul, you'll remain a prisoner to the words that wound, the actions that betray, and the silences that carve holes in your heart. This isn't weakness, it's the human condition. And yet some wear their masks better than others, pretending they've escaped the ache. Carl Jung, the titan of depth psychology, said it best. We are not what happens to us, but what we choose to become. This is your wake-up call. This is for you, the one tired of bleeding in silence, the one who feels like others hold a power over you that you can't quite grasp. This script isn't just words. It's a mirror, a map, and a blade to cut through the lies you've told yourself. Get ready to face truths that will burn, truths that will free you, truths that will make you question everything. Because true strength isn't about building walls, it's about tearing them down and finding the courage to stand in the rubble. Let's dive in. The pain you feel isn't out there. It's not in the careless words thrown at you, the abandonment you didn't see coming, or the betrayal that shattered your trust. Those are just triggers. The real wound lies within you, festering, unhealed, waiting for you to notice. What hurts isn't what others do. It's what their actions awaken in you. It's the story you've been telling yourself since childhood, the one that says you're not enough, not smart enough, not strong enough, not worthy enough. It's the trauma you've buried, the emptiness you've masked with pride, the desperate need to appear unbreakable when all you want is permission to fall apart. Jung taught us that pain is a reflection of what's unintegrated inside us. Some people walk through fire and emerge with clarity, while others crumble under a single harsh word. Why? Because it's not about what happens, it's about where it lands. If it hits an open wound, it will consume you. If it finds a healed soul, it passes through like a breeze. Here's the uncomfortable reality. You're still suffering because you believe deep down that you can control how the world treats you. You think if you're good enough, kind enough, perfect enough, no one will hurt you. But control is a lie. It's a fragile illusion that keeps you in a constant state of tension, predicting the unpredictable, dodging the inevitable. Do you want freedom? Then stop chasing control. Stop shielding yourself from pain. Instead, lean into it. Pain isn't your enemy. It's your teacher. It's the raw material of your transformation. The battlefield isn't the world outside you. It's the unconscious within. And that's where we're going next. Deeper, darker, truer. The greatest lie you've been sold is that you're in control of your life. You're not. Not as long as you're sleepwalking through it, reacting to triggers you don't understand, feeling emotions you can't explain, sabotaging yourself in ways that leave you baffled. Jung put it starkly. Until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life, and you will call it fate. Every time you lash out in anger, sink into unexplained sadness, or feel crushed by a single comment, that's not random. It's your unconscious screaming for attention. It's a system of memories, fears, desires, and traumas you've shoved into the shadows, hoping they disappear. But they don't. They fester. They manifest in the toxic relationships you can't escape, the self-sabotage you can't stop, the anxiety that creeps in when life feels too good. You've been tripping over the same psychological rubble for years because you've swept it under the rug instead of facing it. Jung said, we cannot change anything until we accept it. Condemnation does not liberate, it oppresses. So what have you been doing? Judging yourself for feeling too much, silencing your pain, pretending you're fine. But the unconscious doesn't vanish because you ignore it. It finds sneakier ways to control you, through your fears, your doubts, your patterns. Want to stop being a puppet to your emotions? Then stop running from what's inside you. True strength isn't about numbing yourself. It's about knowing yourself. It's about integrating the parts you've rejected, the parts you're ashamed of, the parts you've buried. That's where your power lies, not in resistance, but in acceptance. Most people think the answer to pain is to shut down. They build walls, craft personas, wear emotional armor, and declare, "I don't care." But they're lying to themselves, to the world. Inside, they're still bleeding. The problem isn't feeling. It's not understanding what you feel or why. Jung's wisdom cuts through the noise. Know all the theories, master all the techniques, but when touching a human soul, be just another human soul. That soul, the one you've hidden behind a facade of strength, is begging to be seen. Becoming unshakable isn't about being cold or indifferent. It's about integration, about bringing every buried fear, shame, and insecurity into the light. When you do that, you stop reacting blindly. You start choosing. You become untouchable, not because you've blocked the world out, but because you've embraced every part of yourself. Jung called this individuation, the process of becoming whole, not perfect. It's not about being better, it's about being real. It's about meeting your light and your shadow, your ego and your unconscious, and forging something new. This is where the magic happens. When you integrate your wounds, your triggers lose their power. Words still sting, but they don't break you. Betrayals hurt, but they don't define you. You're no longer a victim of the world's chaos because you've mastered your own. But this isn't easy. It demands courage. The courage to face what you've avoided, to feel what you've suppressed, to let go of the masks you've worn for so long. Are you ready to dive deeper? Because pain, the thing you feared most, is about to become your greatest ally. You've been taught to hate pain. From the moment you were old enough to feel, society told you that suffering is weakness, that tears are shameful, that vulnerability is a liability. So you learn to run. You learn to distract, to numb, to deny. But pain doesn't vanish when you ignore it. It shapeshifts. It becomes the anxiety that keeps you up at night, the anger that explodes without warning, the apathy that numbs your joy. It's the self-destructive impulses you can't explain, the relationships you keep repeating, the cycles you can't break. Jung saw pain differently. He called it the messenger of the soul, the alarm of the unconscious. He said, "Depression is like a lady in black. If she appears, don't push her away. Invite her to sit down, offer her a coffee, and listen to what she has to say. But you don't listen. You drown her out with noise, work, social media, alcohol, anything to keep from facing her. What is your pain trying to tell you? It's not here to destroy you, it's here to wake you up. It's the voice of the parts of you that are starving for attention, the parts you've rejected, the parts you've deemed unworthy. Suffering hurts because you're at war with yourself. One part of you is desperate to grow, to evolve, to become. Another part clings to control, to safety, to the familiar. That friction is where pain lives. Change hurts. Growth hurts. Letting go of old beliefs, toxic ties, and outdated versions of yourself is a kind of death. But it's also a rebirth. When you stop fighting your pain and start listening to it, you'll find it's not your enemy. It's your guide. Pain is sacred. It's the crucible where transformation happens. When everything you've built, your ego, your masks, your illusions, crumbles, you're left with nothing but the truth of who you are. No performance, no pretense, just you. Jung understood this. He knew that suffering isn't a glitch in the system. It's the system itself. It's the raw material of individuation, the process of becoming whole. Most people never make it this far. They flee at the first sign of discomfort, retreating to distractions, to the surface, to the safety of their masks. But not you. If you're still here, it's because you're ready to cross the dark valley. You're ready to face the loneliness, the fear, the shame. You're ready to let go of the illusion that you can control how the world sees you, how it treats you, how it loves you. Individuation isn't about comfort. It's about truth. It's about unlearning everything you thought you were, your achievements, your traumas, your carefully curated image, and discovering what lies beneath. Jung called the persona a mask of collective convenience, a facade you built to survive. But surviving isn't living. To live, you have to tear off that mask. You have to face the fire of your own darkness and come out the other side. That's when you become untouchable. Not because you're invulnerable, but because you've integrated every part of yourself. You've seen your monsters, and they no longer control you. Individuation is a lonely road. Not because you'll be alone, but because few can walk it with you. Most people are still trapped in their masks, their fears, their need for approval. As you shed those layers, you'll feel the distance grow, not out of rejection, but out of growth. You no longer fit where you once hid. You no longer need the validation you once craved. This isn't pride, it's maturity. It's the realization that your worth doesn't depend on how others see you. It's the clarity that comes from knowing yourself so deeply that no external force can shake you. This is the heart of emotional immunity, not hardness but awareness, not armor but integration. You'll still feel pain, but it won't break you. You'll still face betrayal, but it won't define you. You'll still encounter rejection, but it won't unravel you. Why? Because you've stopped reacting and started choosing. You've stopped living on the surface and started inhabiting the depths. And in those depths, you'll find a strength that no one can touch, a core of consciousness that remains steady through any storm. Here's the final truth. Nothing will shield you from suffering if you remain unconscious of what's within you. The world will keep hurting you, its words, its rejections, its betrayals, until you wake up. Awakening isn't a one-time event, it's a daily choice. It's choosing to look within, even when it hurts. It's taking responsibility for your emotions, your triggers, your wounds, without blaming others or the past. Jung said, "What you resist persists. What you accept transforms." You've spent your life resisting the fear of not being enough, the pain of loneliness, the sting of not being seen. But resistance only exhausts you. It keeps you trapped in a cycle of fighting the world and yourself. True freedom comes when you stop fighting and start understanding. When you see your triggers for what they are, echoes of unhealed wounds, they lose their power. You still feel, but you don't drown. You must suffer, but you don't lose yourself. This is the power of clarity. This is the shield of consciousness. Those who live on the surface are tossed by every wave. Those who dive deep find silence, stability, and strength. This journey isn't about becoming perfect. It's about becoming whole. It's about embracing every part of yourself. The light and the shadow, the strength and the vulnerability, the beauty and the brokenness. When you do that, the world can throw its worst at you, and it won't find a weak spot. You'll still cry, still rage, still love, still hurt, but you'll do it with awareness. You'll do it as a whole person, not a fragmented one. And that changes everything. You're not here by accident. You're here because you're tired of surviving and ready to live. You're ready to stop pretending and start being. So here's my challenge to you. If this script stirred something in you, if it made you see yourself in a new light, leave the phrase "I choose clarity" in the comments. Let's start a movement of people who refuse to live on the surface, who dare to dive into the depths, who choose truth over masks. If this video made you question the stories you've told yourself, if it made you see pain as a teacher instead of an enemy, like and subscribe. This is just the beginning. The next video is another step on this journey, and you don't want to miss it. Real transformation doesn't happen in a single moment. It happens when you keep showing up. And remember, the wound you fear is the doorway to your freedom.